Is there any?
Well, thank you, Mary.
Any questions with regard to the meeting from last, or the minutes from last month's meetings?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented. Second.
Move second, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, Dan will be gone today, but Mary has offered to go ahead and offer the treasurer's reports.
All right, so on the income side, you all have got interest from two of the CDs. Mutual savings CD, you got two payments, one 14,604, and that's from the maturity. Then you have one for 44,925, which is interest accrued as well. On the first security, you have $304.80 interest. And then on your checking account, you've got $41.28. On the expense side, you have T-Works, which is the park maintenance people. You got two payments, one for them doing work at Urban Hess, and one for Gary Carlson, $11.50 and $13.25 for those. You got your energy payment for $37.94, the QuickBooks $35, the accountant at $125, and then our monthly state fee for $5. And that's it.
Anybody have questions for Ms. Mary?
I'll make a motion to approve the, I guess, can we do that?
Find out.
Okay. To approve the report.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, carries. Greg, I guess you're up now with regional transportation plan. Or do you have any new information?
A little bit, this person received an update from, Jeff McCarron with Emily Horn on K5. They've completed their analysis of the existing conditions, that have a series of identified concepts for the improvement. Based on KDOT's input, they're doing some initial screening. Once that screening is complete, KDOT's weighed in. They anticipate bringing a list of 3 to 5 alternatives out for stakeholder and public engagement. Hopefully this is gonna happen late summer or the fall, so project is moving forward. The other thing that, let's see, like I mentioned, Baser was gonna split the cost of the study with KTA to look at an interchange off of I-70. The KDOT consult meetings, I've included the schedule for those. And for those of you that don't know, the consult meetings are the opportunity for KDOT to refill their pipeline or projects every 2 years. As they empty the pipeline out, they go back and they refill it. And so they had these meetings, and basically you show up and it's a matter of putting a sticky on a board of projects that you support. It's kind of an awkward process, as some people know, but it's definitely the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so we need to go through and come up with, 3 or 4 projects in Leavenworth County that we would like to see added into KDOT's pipeline. I would think we would at least take some of the projects that we had last time that didn't make it, and we would try to get those in, and then maybe possibly add a study or something for extending County Road 1 south to Panasonic to DeSoto, and then possibly a north-south bypass around Baser, Lansing, Leavenworth that would tie into this proposed interchange that we hope we're gonna get. So that's kind of Greg's thought. I haven't talked with a lot of people, but I'll probably be reaching out to some other people and see what they think, but that give us 4 projects. I think we had the interchange at Leavenworth Road and the interchange at Fairmont Road. Okay, so, but that's just kind of my thoughts, but if you want to start putting those at least on your calendar or something, the ones I would definitely recommend would be Tuesday, October 25th at Kansas City, Kansas. And I believe that's going to be held at Great Wolf Lodge. And then possibly that virtual one on October 27th in the evening. So that's all I have.
Could I just say on that point, I think the last consult meeting we had, like 15, 16 Leavenworth County residents, they broke us into 4 rooms.
Yep.
And the K5 project, because it was identified in our study, was also of interest to Wyandotte County, and I think that's why that one came out of that process. But honestly, until KDOT changes the process, it's show up with as many people as you
Yeah.
can and put dots on paper. So I
How
would
we did
say
that for years.
when we get closer to that, we just need people to have dots in their hands.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you get that on your calendar, that'd be awesome. And then the only thing I would say is that I think if we go back consistently to KDOT, as these meetings happen, and we're putting the same projects forward with the same priority, I think that's gonna create our success
Yeah.
than looking different every time we come through that.
Exactly.
So,
The other was a wish list. You really
Yeah,
didn't want it.
exactly.
You go back. I agree.
And I think we might, I already talked to Bill Knoll, but Bill and I might do a scouting mission to Pittsburgh, to Wichita, and scout out the process a little bit so that
There
we're
you go.
prepared when we go to Kansas City, Kansas.
Nothing wrong with
That's a
that.
great idea.
Do we have a clearinghouse for this information for Leavenworth County, or, I mean, we generally have in the past, and Port Authority would be maybe a central point. But should, I mean, cause October 22nd or 21st is gonna get here quick. I mean,
You're looking for a clearinghouse for the dates?
well, no, just necessarily to make sure we're all on the same page, going the same direction as well as we possibly can. So when we get there, and the more people we can get to show up,
Yeah, that's.
it is better. I mean,
That's the-
we had, I mean, I went into one of those and we were in Lenexa last time, and it turned out great, but if we can get more people there, but so who centralized all this information, so 12 people just show up instead of 25 people. It makes a difference. And we saw that. And
Right.
then also, should we coordinate with our partners, Wyandotte counties? Do they have anything that's on the border, or is there anything in Douglas County, or? Cause we're gonna need Douglas County, or I guess that might be Johnson County on a bypass. Is there any way to coordinate that, or should we do that through the Port Authority? Or is Bill, I mean, I don't want to work with bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill's been, he's sticking around. No, I think that makes.
But being splintered is not nearly as effective as being all together.
Yeah.
Do we expect any help out of our local representatives in that line? I mean, it's state money.
Well, Wyandotte County had them at the last meeting, at least 2 or 3 of the representatives were at the last meeting a couple of years ago. So
I don't think it would hurt.
but we could ask them to attend and support.
I mean, we sat there, Senator Marshall was in town, we asked him for a north-south thoroughfare directly to his face. It's okay, can you help us out? Let's get our local.
I'm just looking to who is gonna coordinate who should be the
Yeah.
coordinating entity, or are we just all on our own and hope we all show up? I mean, but it's up to this group to make them.
I would selfishly say that I think the Port Authority with Greg's connection to this specific topic, the Port Authority would make a great lead organization.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Share myself.
Okay, I just did.
That's kind of what I had in mind, and that,
So.
I was gonna kind of August work on maybe identifying the projects. And then September, maybe start promoting it a little bit to the city councils, the county commission. Port Authority, LCDC, with the hopes, maybe, late September, 1st of October. I don't want to get too far out. I don't want to be far enough out to get with people's schedules.
Yes, and that's the whole reason I brought it up. I just, if we start today, it'll be about perfect timing.
Yeah.
Start layering in what projects, who's going,
Right.
what representatives do we need to get there? Do we need to make any communications with any counties, or maybe Atchison or whoever?
So maybe Greg and I can meet on game plan, we can pull together some stakeholder lists
Yeah,
and draft an email and decide when to send that out, those kind of things.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think Harlan's idea about some state representatives, I think that's a great idea, and I know a couple of them we can get. So definitely show up, so.
Well, knowing everything's going on with you, on your personal side too, we need somebody that can, should something happen.
Yeah, you need backup.
Keep me in the
You can just, I was, okay.
Anything else?
Stuff, just stuff, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Lisa, looks like I popped by you real quick, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So first of all, projects and leads. You all have that in front of you. That's June. There's been a couple of new ones that came in since this was print posted. So first of all, the one on there, this is Project Rowdy. And this is a small retail operation interested in Lansing. So we initially kind of, you know, reached out to them. We were given their contact information, reached out to them, checked on them. And so we're trying to connect them with resources that can help them in that project. So we, Diana's kind of point on that one. Then Project Wolf Creek was one. It's not on there right now. It's one that came in June after this was posted. This is one, unfortunately, I can't give a lot of information. I've signed an NDA. And they have indicated they want to talk to the county, so we are working closely with the state and the county on how an NDA, if an NDA can be signed, how all that can work. Hopefully, we'll have a process for going forward that can work for all of
I've
us.
seen the emails going back and forth, y'all
Yep.
working on, good.
So we're working through that. But know that the NDA is only for the initial conversations. Any decisions that were to be made on this kind of project, it would have to go to the governing body. So just understand that these are just for initial conversations.
So you said, do we need any legal work on that, or is the county taking care of the legal work, or?
Well, I've got the county counselor Misty, counselors, been the last week, we'll put them together, going back and forth, because there's some hoops you gotta jump through, you gotta be careful, there's our elected officials, we gotta make sure the rest of the elected officials don't broadcast. I think right now it's going the right direction, you just have to see how it plays out.
And I'm bringing it up from the Port Authority perspective, if the Port Authority is involved, do we need to have support, and we'd love to ask county people to do all the work for us, but should we engage our own legal counsel? Should we need to? I'm not saying that we need to.
At this point, the property is not within any areas that the Port Authority owns, so otherwise I would
Very good.
talk with you guys about that. One other one is called Project Hidden Spring. That one came in, unfortunately, it was a mega project. And what that means is came in from the state. That means the capital investment is at least $1 billion or more. So it's a critical mineral industry and they need 400 to 600 acres of greenfield, of a greenfield site. Greenfield means there's, you know, it's ready for development. It's got, you know, everything in there, it's ready for shovels to go in the ground. And so unfortunately, that's one we just keep track of. We didn't get to submit. We don't have a property for that. And then, like I said, we're keeping track of those that we aren't able to submit for. In July, so far, one came in, Project C. This is a local developer. And they are interested in what's available in the Urban Hess Business Center in Tonganoxie. So at this point, I have provided a map of what properties are available. So hopefully that will move forward and I'll be coming back to you all in regards to that. So
What is left there?
three properties. We've got between 1.5 acres and 4.5 acres. There's do you want me to point
The
it out?
ones at the back there that we talked about
Yep.
saving for by hobbies.
I'm gonna have to stand above you, I'm sorry. No, you're fine, you're fine. So you've got, and I'm sorry, I'll try to, so we sold these two.
Yes.
This one's available here, this one and this one, so all three right kind of together.
Well, we're gonna have another one available too at the end of the month, are we not?
I'll have to check on that. Are you talking about the one that was sold to IST?
Yeah.
We've got a little more time on that, but I will double check on that. He's talking about the one sold to the Capital Bird. It's called Bird Holdings, I think. And he's the one that has IST services, which has 2 buildings. Anyway, that was one that you all put a requirement on that they need to have a building built within 2 years. And that hasn't been done yet. So if that doesn't take place, then you all have the option to buy it back at the price that you sold it. So I'll check back on that one.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. You have more expertise, certainly we couldn't send them a note to that effect now, but.
No, I think we ought to notice them up in advance. I mean, we need to, as a board, decide that's what we wanna do. And then if so, it notice them up in advance. Have to go back through the contract.
Are they just not gonna do it, or are they like 6 months beyond the 2 year?
No, they're just not gonna do it.
Okay, so I mean, that's a little
management
different
company.
deal than,
Yeah.
He sold his other businesses, they're up, the buildings are up for sale. My understanding is he sold the business.
And he did not sell that
Buildings
lot.
are still for sale. And he didn't sell the lot. And I don't think he can sell the lot per our contract without us approving the sale. So the fallback was, we sold it to him, and it was a reasonable price. But the fallback was he needs to build a building on it, create jobs, just like we always do. And if not, we get it back if we so choose, and we'd have to vote on that, that would be a logical process to go through, but we need to know that date. I believe Tim Gerard took care of that, our attorney in Topeka.
So my thought was, they're not gonna give a building permits, we're talking not to, that all can't be done and the building put up before this date, so let's get it done. Let's go ahead and let them go ahead of time, rather than wait till that point, then they start to wreak havoc, just keep us from getting able to market that piece of land.
We probably ought to put that on the agenda, so we can make an official entry for it, and
Yeah.
do we need,
we wanna make sure it's all done by the book.
do we need to notify them that that's what we're gonna do then?
Yeah, we'd have to look at that, I mean, I just don't know the time for, I don't remember it, I've sweat.
And maybe we have to wait until the exact date, I was just thinking, let's get it done ahead of time, so we can market that piece of land that much sooner.
Okay,
We'd have to have the cash available, which we have it, but we'd have to make sure our cash is available to buy it at the time. Look like, so, I mean, that's relatively simple, right?
okay, that information.
Cause you got a good deal. But
Well, yeah.
we were expecting a building and jobs and everything else.
Things brought up before, we don't want people buying that land and then selling
We're
it.
speculating.
That's right, especially.
Not what we're gonna do.
Okay,
Thank-
that's all the new projects, so, and then I don't really have any updates on the ongoing, none of, they're still ongoing. I would say it is a slower time project wise, I'm seeing that across the board, not just with LCDC, and LCPA, but with all over with my colleagues, and I think that's due to the uncertainty of the economy, people are kind of waiting to see, or, what happens with tariffs, it does affect not only the companies themselves, but also our US based companies who are sourcing materials from other countries. So they're just waiting to see. And then the recommendations I'm getting from site consultants, when I go to conferences is to continue marketing. And then also continuing to prepare your sites, because when this all settles down, we want to be ready for business. That's kind of what I'm doing. If you're okay, I'll move on to just a couple other items. Okay. So I think the main thing is, you all know it's budget season, so for LCDC, I have submitted funding requests to Baker, Lansing, Leavenworth, and Tonganoxie. I've attended 2 budget hearings for LCDC, and those were in Tonganoxie on the 7th, and then in Leavenworth yesterday. And then, of course, on behalf of the Port Authority, what day was that? It was the last county commission meeting. And
At least I got one question.
Yes.
It's not trying to be the bad guy on something like that, but we talked about trying to get the funding that was budgeted a while back. From what I can see, this goes for all y'all to hear the state CDC, from what I can see, the majority, and I can't speak for the other ones, but this is what I'm seeing, the majority of the county commissioners, unless we get somebody on the executive board, and it doesn't have to be an elected official. I'm not sure that funding is gonna pass, and I say this not because of me. I'm saying that's what I'm seeing out there. I just wanna make sure that if there's any way we can work through that, and I don't know if there is, folks. So I thought Greg did a good job the other day. We didn't chew him up that bad, though. I thought he did a good job the other day, but that's just on the table, and I'm hearing it as a chair, I'm hearing it all the time. So for what it's worth.
I'll make note of that, and we'll discuss that in the LCDC
Yeah,
executive
I
committee.
know it's not time to bring it up, but I don't want to be surprised. I want to make sure y'all knew that with the last time conversation I had with them.
Mike, I just would say, based on one of the comments you made at the very beginning of this meeting about NDAs. that situation has to be ironed out before
I
I
agree.
think that we could ever consider putting an elected official in a board that's asked to sign.
Put elected.
Okay, you said non-elected.
Okay, I mean.
Okay, sorry. I,
We backed off and put elected,
Okay.
putting just a person that's appointed by the county commission, and that's what I'm hearing, that doesn't mean that's the way it's gonna go. But that's why, that's why I worked for Lisa in the last few weeks, and maybe longer than that, on some conversations and pieces to try to keep this thing going forward. And I don't know how that's gonna end up with what we're trying to, what you're talking about, Harlan,
right.
but I know it's a better conversation we've had in the past.
Do you think that the commission would support a rotating seat where each community served on the board for like a year, or had, each community could submit, Scott could submit a name to a
Like-
person
like
that
we
would
do
submit,
here.
that would do a year, and then the county could do a year, Tonganoxie could do a year, Lansing could do a year, and if Baser comes back, Baser could do a year. And then that way we would.
So you wouldn't have to put everybody on at one time.
Well, I think the main concern of the executive committee is, one, we're not sure what secret sauce we have in those meetings and everybody wants to see. They're actually pretty boring, but
Yeah.
we share everything that is pretty much discussed in those meetings at the board level. But I'm just wondering because and I've not discussed this with LCDC board at all, but we have an at-large seat that might be an appropriate use of an arrangement like that.
And see, that's at least at least we're not stuck on, we have been for, at least that's an idea to
Right,
bring to the county commissioners and let them think about it
okay.
and see, instead of, I think we can get there, we just gotta figure what everybody's comfortable with. So that's why I brought it up.
Is that person wanting to be on the succession plan of being treasurer, vice
I
president?
think we would just
president?
use the at-large seat for that and then rotate the officer positions among the other seats.
It's a starting.
Just a thought.
Yeah, it's a starting.
Before we get too deep in this, this is an LPA meeting.
Yeah, sorry.
Absolutely. This is a good opportunity to do it, I appreciate it, but before we get carried away too
I
far,
think the other
True.
commissioner have to bring it up, so that's why.
Right.
yeah, that's fine.
Well, let's talk some more, Mike.
Okay,
Doesn't mean you can't talk, I just, let's not get too far.
understood.
I've got one quick question. When do you anticipate the county's budget being finalized?
Well, you know, the final budget is like everybody else, it's an on list. When you got to go, we're still going through it. In fact, we just instructed Mark to come back on some other issues that we're concerned about. That Vanessa and I, and a few other people brought up, because, you know, we got healthcare and stuff like that. Healthcare is just killing us as far as employees. So we're trying to do some creative things. So we're gonna be going into it for the next few months. Now, we've given direction to Mark, and it can change at the last minute, but all the budgets I've done and done with Harlan over the years, that's the last thing we wanna do. Is there a reason you direct that question like that? But are you on a timetable?
Maybe.
Okay, well, I'm not, I can tell you.
No, I've had some things going on in my head, and I guess I just wanna know how long.
Well, I can tell you this, if we're continuing communicating about whether it's a floating person on the one at large or anything like that, then we'll try to get that worked out as soon as the county commissioners wanna work it out. And then at least we'll know that what we're doing with that. So we try to have this thing. What is it? It's almost August. I mean, almost, yeah, we're almost, end of the month. We like, because we gotta have 3 or 4 weeks prepared to submit it, as you know, and get it to the paper and all the legal notices on that. So we're on a time crunch right now, I guess, when it comes back to it. I almost forgot we're in the middle of July, but we're on a time crunch right now.
No, that answers, I mean, end of July, 1st of August.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
I think that'd be fair to say that.
Okay. A couple other things, small things, I mean, quick things, I shouldn't say small. Advocacy committee has been working very hard on the LCDC side to have events to help inform people about what it is LCDC does, what it is that the Port Authority does, kind of similar to the education campaign. It just kind of started at about the same time. We've had some events called Connect and Grow. We had a very successful one in Lansing. The other one in Island Spice that was not very I'm sorry,
In Leavenworth, yeah.
in Leavenworth was, just a few people that had not been before. We had one at 10 and 2 is in Lansing as well. And then County Road Brewing, we're gonna have that on this Thursday, 4 to 6, if you're interested. This is an opportunity, it has no agenda, it's just ask questions. I've been thinking about this, how does this work? How do you guys, work with this particular situation? So those are the questions that we're hoping people will bring. Tough questions, easy questions, any of them. And then,
Were you gonna mention so we have a team at the Kiwanis meeting today?
yes, today,
So,
Diana is there today, hopefully with, I think, Tina Hunley and Jeremy Greenmeyer from the Advocacy Committee doing a presentation to the Kiwanis Club. We've got one scheduled for Rotary on the 30th, and then there's
Lions Club.
Lions Club on the 31st, and then the League of Women Voters in August. I'll be doing that one on a Saturday. So as many organizations that will take us, we're offering to just do a quick presentation about what we do and how it impacts
Don't do one for
everybody.
Rotary, I missed it.
I'm sorry,
Don't do one to Rotary.
we're gonna do one on the 30th.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Now, just FYI, I'll be there tomorrow, but I'll have, or Thursday, I'm sorry, but I'll have the liberty to join Greg and Nancy.
yes, yes, and that's on our agenda. We'll cover that. Finally, 2 marketing events coming up. We are a part, LCDC invests in Team Kansas, a state organization that puts together events that get us national exposure. And those are in site consultant hubs. Site consultants are those people that are hired by companies to find their next location. And so that's one of our biggest target markets. So we're trying to reach them. We can't hardly ever get them to come here. So sometimes we have to go to them, and Team Kansas puts together these events. I'll be heading out to California on Thursday and Friday. And then I also got invited by our regional economic development organization, KCDC, to accompany them to a trip to Chicago where they're going to invite 25 site consultants together there. So that I'm looking forward to, and that'll be a 3-day event next week. And I think other than that, anything else? Well, that I was gonna go over, I think when you guys talk about, that's in the agenda, but it wasn't part of my report, so I'll talk more when you get to the Golden Shovel Education Campaign.
Any questions for Lisa at this point? Okay, Industrial Site Committee? Who do we have?
We're still on pause.
Okay, so on pause.
Until you can clone me, we're still on pause.
Yeah.
Let's put it
On
on
that
that
specifically, though, it's pretty clear that 400 to 600 acres is the minimum number. I mean,
Yeah,
you
anymore.
can't get any clearer than that to me as a board member, so I think that should be priority of north of 400, once that committee gets back up and running. We're gonna miss deals, and who's gonna do 400 acres and have it ready yet? So,
That's definitely one of the things we found out in our early direction.
Yeah.
I mean, you might even see the final report come out recommending 1,000 acres.
yeah, I think that it's where the money's at.
Yeah,
Well, Commissioner Culberson brought that up the last time, and we were, for the most part, prepared for that, and we've got an overlay and everything that indicates properties that could be linked.
Right.
Agreed that needs to be. But once again, we're talking about transportation, we're talking about power, we're talking about water, all that. I'm not sure if we've got a lot tomorrow that we can set like that, but given enough time, I think we could come up with some.
and I would say on the issue of industrial site, I want to just throw this out here as something that maybe the Port Authority considers for larger thoughts. We have a consultant that we work with that does railroad work, and I was talking to him one day about different opportunities and talking about spur tracks. And I know Leavenworth County's got limited opportunities for that, but where we might have opportunities, I think the thing that always got thrown out was we don't have the money to do that. We don't have the 2 million, the 5 million, the 10 million, whatever. I talked to a consultant that was of the understanding that there are either state grants or federal grants that provide significant funding to port authorities, specifically to port authorities that can make application for the funding and then construct the project and then the Port Authority own it and then lease it back to the users. So I think in the context of when the industrial discussions start coming back up, it'd be nice to know what you gentlemen are thinking about. Is that a market area or a way that the Port Authority could grow and bring more value to the county? So I just kind of throw that out there. We can talk about it sometime. I know Lisa and I chatted about it. She followed up. We understand that Stafford County Port Authority did something very similar. Now they own the infrastructure that they're leasing back to industrial users there. So that's a very brief discussion of maybe a much larger picture, but it is something to think about as we think about, with a lot of the questions being asked about the scope of the Port Authority. I think that's a place that we just haven't had that opportunity before. So just throw that out there under the guise of industrial site committee. How's that?
Pretty apparent that people on rails see it dang near monthly,
Yeah.
and our only answer is,
And to Colonel's point, when you look at the Port Authority and Kansas City, Missouri, they have these things called tools, okay? And I believe that's one of the tools that the Kansas City Port Authority uses. So I think that the more tools we put in our toolbox, the better we'll be equipped for moving forward and looking at ways to invest in things that we currently cannot. So at some point, I would like the Port Authority to look at, what are some of the other tools available that other port authorities might be using to see if we can incorporate that within what we're trying to achieve.
Any other comments? Okay. Well, let's put an asterisk by the industrial site, thanks, we don't, there's our own. Future funding committee? Any comments on that, this particular point in time? Okay. Then back to you, Lisa, with the education campaign.
I don't know, did you wanna start, Greg, and talk about your presentations? You spent a lot of time. Greg took a lot from.
I've made presentations to, City of Leavenworth, City of Tonganoxie, City of Bastrop, Leavenworth County. That one more to do Lansing, which is Thursday night. I think after that one, I think we probably need to get back together and kind of evaluate some of the comments that have been made, and we've got some good feedback and we need to take that into account. And that was hence one of the reasons my question to you was, if we wanted to do any changes or look at something different, how long do we have before I can come to you and say, hey, Mike, you're looking at doing this or that? So, but I wanna get through Lansing, and this time I'm gonna have a bouncer with me.
I think you handled yourself very well. It's hard questions. I know one of the places I've seen everywhere, especially down there, but I think you handled yourself very well.
Well, and Baser, I mean,
I don't think I could handle it that well.
well,
And you guys are available for bond money. If I ever have to do that, okay?
they brought up some good points, and I think they need to probably be addressed, and
Yeah.
I don't know that they totally understand some of what I was saying, but we need to get the message across to them that, if we do a $2 billion deal in Leavenworth County, it affects Baser, it affects Easton. And I'm struggling to get that through. I don't know if they don't believe what I'm saying or not.
But I think also the first meeting is always the toughest.
Yeah,
I think once you do it, then you start coming back around and people have time to think about it, and see they still feel the way or they don't, then I think it makes it easier to do. It's just that first initial, that you have to go into.
maybe they don't think it's possible to get that in Leavenworth County. I don't know.
Well, also, Greg, what the county commissioner is saying, this is a change point. This is something that people have to get used to in terms of something that's different, something that's unique. It's a change, so it takes people time sometimes to wrap their heads around what is intended to be done.
So on that point, and I don't, maybe Scott would know, maybe Lisa knows, do we have an ability to go into the data the employee data of major corporations in Leavenworth County to know where their employees live? Can we get the granular enough to know that 15 people from Cereal Ingredients live in Lansing, 27 live in
that.
Baser? Do we
I've got-
have that kind of data?
From so far, 4 of our major manufacturers, I've got that in a folder on my desk.
So to that point, that could use a little bit to solidify, hey, Baser Hills Pet Nutrition came to town and 12 of their people live in Baser. I don't know what the number is. but-
Well, I would think
Or
zip
something like
code data wouldn't be that specific to an individual,
Yeah, I
have a
don't-
bigger sense. If there would be anything wrong with it. Yeah, this employee lives in this zip code, that shows exactly where they're coming
Right.
from.
And there's no doubt, that people live in Baser and work in Leavenworth City, work in Lansing, and they work in different places, so I kind of understand what you're saying to a point,
Yeah.
but people live in Baser, they work everywhere, so, you know, in terms of if we're trying to look at, you know, where the funding is at, or how it's benefiting the county, no matter where they work.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what Greg was trying to say was even a project, say like Hills and Tonganoxie, could indirectly have a benefit to citizens of Baser, because who knows, maybe employees are driving through on their way to work and eating breakfast in Baser, maybe employees are living in Baser. And it's true of any community of
Yes.
Lansing. It's kind of a one county mindset that if we, together we win, divided we fall, I think is a really, good way to think about it.
And then from that one county mindset, I've heard Greg say that Baser is spending money on the exchange. So that's one county. Whenever businesses come into Baser, they still pay money to the county, so it's impacting everybody. We can't separate, as you said, we can't be divided. We just have to figure out a way to get more in.
All right.
Scott made a comment that I've used, rising water raises all ships.
Excellent.
Every job interview ever.
Works, huh?
Anything else?
Just one quick question, if we used to track or get how much our citizens export tax dollars out, we used to get that data. That other counties, instead of spending it, working and spending, if you work out of town, if you work in Kansas City or Johnson County, which a lot of our residents do, or Douglas County. We used to get that, it's been a while, but we were an exporter of. People would go to work and spend their money where they work.
I do know from our latest labor study that 67.8% of our residential workforce does leave every day for work. I don't know how you equate that into tax dollars, but
I mean, that's a big leakage.
that's a huge number.
So we'd like to have that flipped around to have 67% work here.
Right,
That's countywide.
countywide.
That's significant.
I'm wondering if I'll look at that and see, are you thinking maybe specifically to the city of Leavenworth?
Well, I
I'll
would,
look.
I would find that number odd if you're including Fort Leavenworth.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know if they're.
I know that's a countywide number,
Right.
and I can share that with you.
Just to David's point, that seemed high.
I think part of the reason we exclude them is because they don't offer much in the way of taxes to us, short sales taxes, you can come through town or maybe live locally here, but.
As I understand, Fort Leavenworth is included in that. I'd have to ask that question to Mark Snelson, who did that study for us. Okay. I would like to make one final statement. I want to be, so there were some statements that were made in that Baser City Council that I felt, quite frankly, called into question the professionalism of both me and my other staff people. I just want to reassure you, all as Port Authority board members, that we vehemently disagree with these statements. And if you'd like to watch that council meeting, you can go to Baser's website and watch the video of the meeting on July 9th. Greg's presentation starts at 8 and 20 seconds. The council members' comments begin at 24 minutes and 49 seconds. Just want to get that out there. Meeting with I had a meeting with Deanna Moreau from Golden Shovel, and we are now going to meet every month. Now, as your staff member, I assumed that I should do those meetings and then report back to you, but if you all wanna be, if one or all of you wanna be in that, I can change that. But right now, I'm meeting with her once a month, and it's just kind of an update of where we are in the education campaign, and then I'll report back. Do you wanna decide on that real quick before I?
Well, I think you should let everybody know, give the opportunity, make sure it's on, they can put it on their calendar. I'd certainly
Okay.
like to be there, to offer my assistance if I
Okay.
can.
Are they needing stuff from us?
No, they just giving us an update on how the social media is going, how all of their efforts are going.
Once again, that was one of the reasons we met in all the various areas of Leavenworth County. We will inform them that this has been opened up and start being out there again. And anybody's got any questions, if you don't feel like you can answer them, for Lisa and themselves and Greg. Anybody on the executive committee will do our best to answer them for them. We don't want to leave you out there hanging. We just want to make sure you knew that we're gonna be in your community with these things. And not the old fashioned way necessarily, where we're standing at the doorstep or knocking on doors, but newfangled way where we're gonna do this through emails and through whatever.
Facebook, social media,
Facebook,
all.
social media, and everything. I'm not as comfortable with that as everybody else here, but we will certainly, I'll answer any questions I can.
So as, right now, we have a couple of dates, the 18th, which is the day after the final presentation, to the city of Lansing. They plan to send out the press release and then also post that on the website. They're working now, they have direct communication with our web developer. So now they're getting all that stuff posted on the Port Authority's page, which is within the LCDC web site. On the 21st, two things will happen. Social media posts will begin, and they'll make posts 2 times a week for 6 months, so 12 total. And then on the 21st, ads will start. I meant to check back with her. I can't remember exactly how those ads are, but I saw when we were talking about them. But also they are going to start with a new platform called Google's Performance Max. This is a new marketing tool. There's just, I'm not gonna do it any justice because this is not my area of expertise, but if you go on do a Google search and you see some ads, it might end up being one about the education campaign. If you are on YouTube and you see ads, when you're watching a video, you see ads somewhere on that page, it might be one of ours. So they're going to be using that new platform. We talked about the FAQ. You all have seen that FAQ, the frequently asked questions, and Deanna asked me if we want to post that or do we want to use that internally. I said, well, I probably should go back to the board and talk to them, but she seemed to think, I should say I asked her for her opinion, and she thought it probably just something used internally. Would you rather me go back and have her post that on the webpage?
Let's let the committee members take a look at that.
Okay.
The first time, we can certainly add that at a later date.
There's nothing on there that's,
No.
I don't wanna say it's,
Well, in general, my opinion is we ought to have, we're a public entity, that people need to know everything.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's nothing there that's,
All right.
Shoot, I'm doing this for free. Don't have a problem with anything.
All right.
They don't like me on here, I'll get off.
That's it. We're going to meet next month. I'll make sure you guys are all aware of that meeting and have that link if you want to attend.
Lisa, I'd kind of like to look at some of this before it goes live.
I think.
Well, you've seen the press release. Are you just talking about the frequently asked questions? I think you guys.
Yeah, frequently asked questions.
Send that in.
it's sold up right now, let's look at it. I mean, it's only,
There's a lot of links in there that aren't
Let
right.
me,
I know, but that, we can't solve that here.
I'll have to.
I know, but that's what
We don't wanna send it out.
I don't want to send it out unless it's ready. I feel like it's being listed, but I don't think it's ready.
Okay. I'll check.
Maybe
on
I'm
that.
wrong.
I can go do that. I will need to go to my computer, send it to the public drive, then she's gonna open it, we can look at it in there.
Oh, I thought somebody's eating.
I feel like you guys have seen that, but I will
All
double
of
check.
the links on the frequently asked questions, they go to the same spot
Okay,
on the webpage. They did. Now maybe it's
Yeah,
changed,
That was a while back. I wanted to fix it.
but I don't know if anything's been done to change that.
okay,
I guess I'd just like a final look at it before it goes live.
okay.
One more time.
Just one more time.
Yeah, I agree with you in the fact that there's nothing to hide.
No.
Let's just say, look at. Yeah. Any other comments before we go to our affiliated partners? All right, people on, who joined us via Zoom first. George, you got anything for us?
Sure, thank you. Probably like every other entity, we're heavy in the budget discussions. The city council would like to continue the trend over the last 2 years. The city's been able to cut 4 mills from the tax levy collected by the city. And so we're making every effort to present budget scenarios that give options to choose from. However, we are also financing 2 very large infrastructure projects that will help the community grow. I think you've heard me mention doubling the daily capacity of our wastewater treatment plant. That project's underway. We just received final approval from KDHE for a SRF loan that they're providing to the city. And if you're not familiar with that, it's just a lower rate loan. It's about 60% of market rate. So grants are always better, but this is a good option as well. And then the second large infrastructure project we're looking at is 14th Street, which would be a new 2440 corridor access point. It's been something that KDOT's talked to the city about off and on for a few years. We've been more formally engaged with KDOT about what that would look like and actually pursuing some KDOT grant funding to make that happen. Why it's a big deal is it opens up about 300 acres of ground that's owned by about 4 or 5 entities or people. They're all engaged with developers at this point. And so if you're not familiar where that is, if you just kind of think about the current southern point of Tonganoxie, which is sort of the middle and elementary school campus. And there's a gap between that and the industrial park. And now this would kind of close that gap. So we're excited to look at that. DSM informed us that they're ready to issue their industrial revenue bonds. So that signifies that project's reached substantial completion. And in fact, they have their final occupancy and are under operations now. So we're excited to do that. And then maybe of interest to this group, the 51 acres that is directly across 222nd Street from the Tonganoxie Business Park sold at auction last week. And we've been in contact with the purchaser, who is a development firm out of the Kansas City regional area. So kind of excited to find out a little bit more about what they might plan for it. With that, I hope everyone has a good afternoon. Thanks.
Thanks, George.
14th Street will come.
Leslie?
Before we do.
Oh,
that,
sorry.
Yeah. Hey, boss, I'm gonna have you hold off until I'm done and then, you can do the update of the city stuff because you know more about what's going on, on a daily basis than I do. But I just wanna highlight that, we do have sidewalks in Baser. Okay, we had sidewalks before. Now we get even more sidewalks and guess where they lead to? Places where you can eat. Harlan, you know, we'll put money in the county. But our new sidewalks really does an outstanding job with getting citizens out. I've been in Basin for 25 years. I've never seen that many people walking on those sidewalks in my entire time. So I know people are getting out there, they're exercising. We also have this thing called a Sunday, and Leslie's gotta help me out with this. I think a Sunday night movies at city campus. I don't know how often they are, but they're gonna be handing out baseball cards and of the elected officials. So, dartboard. So I him and hawed about what picture I have because I got almost all professional pictures. So I actually did something that was a little odd. You guys have never seen me wear anything that has a logo on it. I just want to stay away from logos like that one. But I actually have on the shirt that they took my picture and they had to cover the logo. That's the first time I wore that shirt in 12 years. So I just want to share it with you, coming out today, sir, that's my home, just coming out, come on, visit, spend some money there, spend some time there. Okay, Leslie, boss, go ahead and take it.
Thank you, Councilmember Fields. I'll make this brief. What Councilmember Fields was referencing is Cinema Sundays. Our next Cinema Sunday is July 27th, featuring The Sandlot, hence the baseball cards. We also have Third Thursdays, which is a concert series, and we're supposed to have our next one this Thursday because it's the third Thursday, featuring artist Sarah Martin. We're working on a contingency plan for weather. We'll see how that goes. As Councilmember Fields referenced, we do have a number of projects that are actively under construction. Tomahawk Park Phase 2 is nearing completion. 158th Street and Parallel Roadway improvements are actively under construction. If you haven't been in the area, it is, we get a lot of feedback about it. Fairway Supermarket is very actively under construction. Looking forward to that being open, hopefully before the end of this year. We have a number of large residential projects that are in various stages of planning. Look forward to those moving forward to the appropriate body when ready. And yeah, I think that's probably it for our update. I did receive a question from one of my elected officials, and Greg, I know you sent information about where they could view LCDC meetings. Are the Port Authority meetings recorded in any fashion?
They are, and they're posted.
Okay, wonderful. I think we
What I
we
sent out
found,
was recording.
yeah,
Well,
I
that's why-
think, yeah, I think the link that we received had the LCDC link. I think we were having a little trouble finding the Port Authority meetings, but we'll keep looking.
I think we should send a
Thank you.
link.
DC meetings aren't recorded.
LCDC meetings aren't recorded. Yeah, I didn't think they
So
were.
it's the Port Authority.
Well, can you send her the link?
Yes,
Yep,
and the
I
link.
got it on my list of
Okay.
things here.
Well, this isn't aimed at you, it's aimed at my committee member here. I have to use parking or the sidewalks because the roads, I can't get there.
Hey, what did he say about water and water?
Right,
So-
time to solve those.
So as time continues, the roads will get better and you'll all be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, Tonganoxie Road doesn't help us much either right now. If you live out in the county, you're kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere. I'm sorry. Thank you, Leslie. Now, we have some guests here that haven't joined us in a while. Anybody have any comments for the general group? Okay.
Thanks
Are you sure you're quiet?
Oh,
Come on, I know you all.
we're glad you're here. You're certainly welcome to make comment if you'd like to.
Thank you so much.
Scott, I just skipped you.
Oh.
I saw you earlier in the week, so.
I have nothing important to report. So we're in the budget process too. Appreciate Lisa and all them coming out. So probably mostly just for you, Lisa. The city commission decided to have a separate meeting just to discuss economic development partners, probably the next week or two. So we'll shoot you an invite when we decide to do that. They didn't make a decision yesterday because Griff had to leave. We just had there's a new property owner or proposed property owner that's looking to redevelop the old Helmer's building. I don't know if you guys know where that is. It's behind the kids dentistry off 4th Street. But kind of the Price Chopper, it's an old warehouse. I think Greenemeyer is in there right now. They're looking to redevelop that for low income housing and they applied for low income housing tax credits. So it's an exciting project. Stormwater season is in fact, we are currently working on what we refer to as our orange fence projects because there's always orange fence around all of our various holes in the city. So getting those all fixed up, and then the city of Leavenworth was approved by the state of Kansas for a Safe Streets for All grant. So we're gonna do a plan to look into safe streets for all sidewalks and all that, and then kind of tie it into our zero traffic fatality.
Those are great grants. Yeah, those are great grants. Congratulations. Those are great
Thank you.
grants.
So yeah, very excited. Go ahead.
Can you send more information on that?
Sure. Oh, and just for you, I approved the credit card machine for the airport today.
Just for that.
You can tell me to get off my backside.
Yeah.
Does anybody or our affiliated parties have anything?
Yeah,
If
I
not,
have
I'm sorry.
one quick
go ahead.
one. I just wanted to tack on a little bit to what Lisa said from a little bit different perspective. As a young elected official in the nineties, I was very critical of taxpayer dollars and economic development. Mike knows this. I grilled Charlie Greger on Chamberside several times. I grilled Steve Jack several times.
Yes, you did.
It wasn't until I really got involved in the organizations. Through Mike, I originally got an appointment to the infrastructure committee. And really started understanding and seeing what collectively both the Port Authority and the Development Corporation are trying to do. I didn't see any personal attacks to Greg. I heard frustration from an elected official. Because I was there. It was like, I want to see results. And one of the things that's been tough over the years within the economic development world is results are not instantaneous ever in what we do. When we think about Hill's Pet Nutrition, and yeah, I talk a lot about Hill's Pet Nutrition, it's a big freaking deal. It took years to land that project. That project's gonna have significant impact on this county. They are paying taxes and are paying a payment in lieu of taxes. We do understand that when they come on the tax rolls, $3 million a year, it will be 30% of Tonganoxie's budget. That's confirmed with George. I feel like I talk a lot about this. I so much respect every individual in the room that is giving time to these efforts. Because it's thousands, hundreds and thousands of hours that people donate. I mean, I think of a predecessor, no relation, but Harley Russell gave and gave and gave to this organization. And it's part of the reason that we enjoy some success today. I don't know where it happened. Trust has gone away and evaporated from this system. Elected officials don't trust volunteers. Volunteers don't trust elected officials. We are going down in a fireball if we can't figure this out. I don't want to sound like Chicken Little, the sky's falling, but I've never remembered a time in my 40+ years in development in this area that we were in more difficult times. Industry's changing around us quickly. Retail development changes, residential development's changed, industrial development has changed. We need to put the hammer down, or we're not going to fix the fact that 90% of our property taxes are being borne by residential property taxpayers. We have to fix that. We have to collectively fix this. There's so much in my mind infighting going on right now. We're not solving anything. Our staff spends more time right now dealing with golden shovel, no offense, education campaigns, financing requests, reports to councils. If we had trust in the process, they could be out doing economic development work. It frustrates me day to day to see that our staff is drawn away from their core purpose and then chastised when they're not producing. So I'm gonna shut up for a while.
Where were you yesterday, Harlan? Where were you yesterday?
Oh,
So what I heard him say is that change is a challenge.
absolutely.
But we all need to get aboard that change train if we're gonna become successful, if we're gonna be successful.
The crazy thing is, we all want the same exact thing. We all want the same exact thing, and we're fighting each other to try to do it. So.
Those of you who don't know Harlan per se, this may be the shortest.
I did give a 5-minute, I gave a 5-minute one last night, because I wrote it down.
No offense. Trust me, he should go out for this for a while. As such, being a person has to watch the clock.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen. Our ladies.
Your speech. That Hill. George is nice.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay for almost all that soon. By themselves.
$5
$5 million sewer improvement and.